population collapse is a terrifying thing. If you think about it, the only reason I have a cell phone right now that can pull up videos and do all this crazy stuff is because there's tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people who know how to do each and every one of these little things to make it, right? Mm-hmm. There's a person who mines the raw materials, the rare earths, the metals, who there's a company that makes the glass.
Yeah,
so it's not, like Apple makes it or Android makes it. Then there's a company that makes the chips. There's a company that makes the cameras. It all comes together into this device. If the glass company ceases to exist, touch screens are gone. Like, what are you going to, plastic screen maybe with buttons. If the rare earths are gone, well, now we got to source them from somewhere else if we can't get that. If we lose access to these specialty positions, I'll tell you, if there's a population collapse, we will lose more than people realize, because it is only because of the massive population that we're able to have such highly refined and powerful tools. Specialties, as there's more and more people, there's finer and finer specialties. Mm-hmm. You go back 500 years. Actually, you go back thousands of years. It was possible to, as a single person, to know everything humans knew. Mm-hmm. Just being one person, because there was so little knowledge. True. Now there's so much knowledge. There's no way one person could actually manufacture a cell phone by themselves, let alone a toaster. That famous TED Talk where a guy says, I tried to make a toaster from scratch. This is what it'll be like if population collapse happens. It'll be 100 years from now. You'll have a kid, and you'll be telling a story about how we used to have small devices. They were like cards, and you'd touch it, and you could make images appear. You could control people on the screen. On the screen, you could move them around. You knew where it was raining around the world. Mm-hmm. You could talk to anyone around the planet. Those kids are going to be like, "That's magic." Yeah. You're going to be an old person like, "I swear we had this thing, and you look." And there'll be like relics of it, and the kids are like, "How do you even use it? How does it even turn on?" You're like, "Well, the network's gone, the technology's gone, we lost it all."
Forget about that.
And to them, they'll hear this story, and then they'll tell their kids, magic. Yeah. And then in 50 years, 60 years, the kids are going to be like, they used to believe in magic. So dumb.
Yeah, I know.
Forget about the luxuries. The medical implications are also going to be very vast, because there's not going to be enough young people to take care of the old people. Yeah. There's going to be so many horrible effects, especially when it comes to the larger economic system, which is going to collapse, especially with the lack of people, since, of course, economies grow with people. Right. Less people, less growth, bigger collapse.
Well, Japan is a good test for all of this, because first of all, Japan is one of the lowest, if not the lowest, fertility rates. All the places with the lowest fertility rates seem to be the most technologically advanced. Mm-hmm. But then other than, the West and European countries that seem to have attempted to solve this problem by importing massive amount of people from the developing world, Japan has decided to develop robots to replace them, which may in the end turn out to have been a better choice. You just don't know. So
I don't think so.
Well, China is also doing something very similar. They have very weird robots that we can't talk about on the show that I brought up before that everyone here knows about. But China also is facing a huge population.
But then there are these Boston Dynamics robots. Yep. They're terrifying, and I have it on good authority that actually there's an ulterior motive there. Is that actually the Boston Dynamics robots are secretly programmed for a future in which it is a state law that everybody has to watch the Lex Fridman videos.
Oh, no.
And if you don't watch the Lex Fridman videos, the Boston Dynamic robots will come and
I got
make
so
sure
scared
that
for
you
a
do.
second.
You have to watch at least 3 per month to be in good standing.
What happens
Don't make
is
me do it.
the Boston Dynamic robot shows up at your house, and then a screen comes out of its head. And Lex Fridman.
Have you seen that?
He just starts talking.
Just like following.
You're being chased as the dogs are running after you with screens on their back, and you're like, no! And they pin you down, and it just plays the podcast.
I don't want to listen.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Lex is just talking to you quietly.
Well, what is you guys don't like Lex Fridman's show, or what?
I think he's fine.
I think it's fascinating. Nothing for or against, but I think it's safe to say, it's fair to say that this is the most algorithmically driven phenomenon on the entire internet. I hear so many stories of saying, I went to bed watching this on YouTube and I woke up and Lex Fridman was on. Really? It's like all paths lead to Fridman. And it's a very interesting thing. You wonder sometimes how these phenomena occur. Maybe he's just such a great charismatic interviewer that it's just manifestly obvious why he would, be elevated to such a station with so many interesting guests. Maybe there are other factors, but I definitely think it's, I really think the Boston Dynamic robots, they're made to enforce it. Maybe there's going to be a SCOTUS decision, just like the Obamacare. They can force you to buy health insurance. They can force you to watch the Friedman videos. There are all sorts of possibilities in the future.
I always get recommended him all the time, and I'm like, no, I just don't want to. Like, all the time, nonstop.
Yeah, did they fall asleep watching Lex Friedman, or do they end up on Lex Friedman? That's also a good question to think about.
Well, there you go.
No disrespect, Lex. It's all good.
He's just spreading love, but it's nothing against him, but it is weird. It is the most algorithmically driven thing on the entire internet.
Remember that story about that chick who lived in the van? She put up 2 YouTube videos and then got millions of subscribers.
Oh,
yeah. It was it exposes that there is absolutely an algorithm driving everything and controlling what you see. And my conspiracy theory is that the van life trend on YouTube was to try and convince millennials to not buy stuff.
And to live in a pod.
Right.
And
to live in the pod, eat the bugs.
Yep, eat the bugs and not own anything.
So,
because people can't own homes now. It's, their parents are telling them, hey, you should save up money and own a home. That's not possible for the average person nowadays with the salaries that they're having, with how much, the price of real estate has increased. That's impossible. But you could have a van by the river,
like 50K,
right?
60K.
Or you could have some, cryptocurrencies. You could have some Tether. Right,
Yeah,
right, Darren.
Yeah, buy
Do we have
some
time
Tether? Watch some Lex. Buy some Tether. Get into a little geometric unity theory.
There you go. There you go. Do we have time to talk about that? Your article, because you wrote a very interesting article about this.
Just the short, and like Tim said, there's been a lot of talk about Tether for a long time, but this piece that's up on my news site revolver.news, it's generating a lot of buzz in crypto world and otherwise, and I'll just lay out the basic data points and people can kind of decide for themselves. It's a very weird story. It's the 3rd largest cryptocurrency in existence. It's a stable coin, meaning that its value is not mined in the way that Bitcoin is or Ethereum, that its value allegedly comes from US dollar reserves backing the Tether. It's never been fully or properly audited in its entire existence, which is weird given that its whole value is based on the fact that it allegedly has these reserves. And then if you look at the cast of characters behind Tether, one of them is a washed-up child Disney actor called Brock Pierce, who was involved in all sorts of things, a weird sort of underage sex scandal that he got embroiled in. He was apprehended by Interpol in Spain. There was allegedly child pornography and all this stuff involved in the apprehension. He was not arrested, weirdly, and then he turns up as the founder of this major cryptocurrency, which is a stable coin, which has never been audited, which defies the U.S. Treasury in various respects, and which just happens to be the official cryptocurrency of several U.S.-backed rebel groups geopolitically, including the Rohingya rebel groups in Myanmar. And so the thesis adduced in this piece suggests that there could be an historical antecedent to the function that Tether may fulfill, and that is the BCCI Bank, which is this bank set up by the CIA to facilitate all kinds of money laundering operations and so forth. But the cast of characters is really remarkable here. Of course, there's a Jeffrey Epstein connection, and so I encourage everyone to go and look at it. And for crypto enthusiasts and experts, I welcome feedback. Where, are we barking up the wrong tree or not? But so far, I've received extremely positive feedback from the crypto community in terms of Tether being a the highly questionable proposition.
The issue with so many cryptocurrencies, they're clearly scams. And there's that Alameda woman, Bankman-Fried's girlfriend, who I think she said something like, crypto is just scams or something else. She's like, it's all scams and something else or whatever, and like drugs or something. Crypto is, I think, mostly scams, but that's not to disrespect crypto itself. It's
Well, everything's pretty much a scam these days. What isn't a scam?
Yeah.
The issue is that there are people who are using crypto to scam, but there are absolutely amazing and legitimate cryptocurrencies,
Sure,
and the technology
of course.
itself is incredible. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.